it's Marcia Lovelyy and I'm back with another video. Yay! And today we are going to be doing a story time about the time that I got another psychic reading. So let's go ahead and get into the story.
Does it make you nervous? I'm not afraid to say what I want. Does it put fear into your heart that I know where I started, far from where I began?
Okay, so this psychic reading was 2 years ago, back in 2020. And what made me go to another psychic was my therapist at the time. I was going to therapy, as you guys already know. And we talked about like mental health and depression and things of that nature. And my therapist was like so cool. And we would talk about a lot of different things. And she was telling me about her experience that she had just had with a psychic, and it was a good experience. And she was just telling me like basically what it was from her perspective and how crazy it was. Crazy good though, in a good way. And as you guys already know, if you saw my previous video, I went to a psychic medium before when I was in college. And yeah, that reading was a little sketch. So if you haven't already seen that video, make sure you go head over and watch that video, because that psychic straight up didn't know what she was talking about. That's just what it is. So I looked up her psychic that she had told me about, and she was very expensive. And then, you know, when you're talking about something, when you look at something on your phone, you're gonna see different things come up. So of course I came across another psychic later on when I was not looking, and she had a lot of great reviews. So when I looked into it, she was a little bit more affordable, and just to try it out, because you know how I feel about psychics, not really sure, you know, they could be sketch, they could be real, I didn't really know. I just went ahead and did the bare minimum 15-minute reading just to feel her out and see what it was like, you know, peep her vibe. As a disclaimer, I know that psychics and the whole psychic reading, the whole thing about it can go against some people's religious beliefs, and to each his own. I do believe that it's all about your comfort level, all about your intentions. As you know, I am very much a believer in God, and people believe different things, they feel different things. Comfort levels are very different, and everybody draws the line somewhere, okay? For me, I do believe that there are many people that have different gifts. Some people have the gift to connect with different energies. I do believe that some people have the gift to see and they can predict what's going to happen. I do believe that. Now, also with everybody having a gift, it's all about what you do with it as well. And what their intentions are, but what their intentions are is between them and God. Now, my intentions and my heart is my responsibility. However, if this goes against what you believe, your religion, whatever, if this makes you feel uncomfortable, we're gonna be talking about psychics this whole video. I don't think this is the video for you, so, you know, click off. So with this psychic that I did the 15-minute reading with, Basically, when she came on, she told me to speak my name and my birth date. And I did. And she told me to think of 3 topics. Don't say it out loud, but just think of 3 different areas or topics that I want her to touch on. So my areas that I wanted to talk about was 1, my sister, because at the time me and my sister were fighting like crazy and I had very strong feelings about my sister. I don't know what I wanted her to touch on about that, but I just thought her at the time. Waste of time, should have thought of something else. My second one, I wanted to talk about my career because I, at the time, absolutely hated what I was doing. I was unhappy at my job and I wanted something different. Something had to give. I didn't know if I should quit. I didn't know what I should do, but I wanted to get some insight on that. And then obviously we all want to know about love. So I said love as my 3rd topic. When it came to her discussing my sister, she didn't necessarily have any like predictions or anything that stood out. And I mean, I don't really know what you could predict about me and my sister because she's obviously gonna always be in my life. So it wasn't like it's my sister gonna always be in my life. But what she did do was confirm exactly on point exactly what I was feeling about my sister. And so obviously she didn't say my sister, she just said this person that you feel like da da da, you know, blah blah blah. And yeah, just touched on how I felt my sister treated me at the time, all of that. Like she was like so on point that I literally could have cried if I cared that much. But yeah, she touched on my sister for sure. Second, she had told me that in about 6 months, my financial life would change tremendously. And at the time, I had just paid my car off early, period. I just paid my car off. I started to get into like my credit, doing things to increase my credit, and my credit started to increase at that time. But I also had goals as to where I wanted to get it at what time, and just financial in general, I had goals. So I took it as I'm on the right path, and in about 6 months, I would be where I want to be. And as far as love, she did. Okay, so half of it is I don't remember what she said. Like I said, this was 2 years ago, and I did write it down in a notebook. But it was very, I don't know. Like, if it stood out, I would have remembered. It was nothing that stood out about love. So I mean, I don't remember. She did mention just like on a whim that she sees 2 female energies around me, and 2 months later my twin cousins were born, but we had already known that my cousin was having twins and I would have twin cousins. So I just figured at the time that she was talking about them. But I mean, later on in life, if I have twin daughters, remember this video. But outside of that, when it came to love, it was very generic. It didn't sway me one way or another, you know? Like, I need you to be clear and precise when you talking about that. Like, tell me, leave this man, or this is it, he the one, you know? Yeah, and a lot of people ask, had she told me to, this ain't the dude for you, would you have left this dude alone? And like I said, with the psychic thing, we all feel different. It could be sketch or it could not. So everything she said, I did write down if I needed to refer back to it, but I obviously took everything with a grain of salt. I would have 100% left them. Yeah, I would have done it. I would have. It's a sign, but I didn't get nothing. So yeah, that was just that on that. So afterwards, I was on my way to Puerto Rico. Yeah, it was my birthday time, so I just packed for Puerto Rico, went to my sister's house because I was gonna ride with her to the airport because it was my birthday trip, so obviously she was coming. Yeah, and Puerto Rico wasn't my vibe, but shout out to y'all anyway. But yeah, before we were going to the airport, I told my sister what the psychic said, primarily about how she needed to treat me better. Yeah, and you know, of course, she had comments about that with her, you know, bad attitude. Y'all saw my sister, y'all know. But yeah, after that, I just moved on with my life. I went to Puerto Rico. I came back, and it was like back to work, like with my goals and everything, and I completely forgot about that psychic reading. So, as you can guess, 6 months later, I got a promotion that over doubled my base salary. And it wasn't until a couple months later I was watching TV, and you know, I love reality TV, and they went to a psychic, and then it just dawned on me, like, the psychic told me my financial life was going to change tremendously, and it did. So I went and found my notebook, referred back to it. It said in about 6 months, and I did the calculations, and y'all, it was 6 months exactly. And it did change my financial life. Even my boss, like when she told me, my new boss who offered me the position, she told me, like, I'm about to knock your socks off. And she told me, like, how much I was gonna make. I wanted to tell her, like, girl, shut up. And yeah, she told me, like, you are at the point where your financial life changes. In which I still hearing that, did not think of the psychic. I don't know. I kind of was just thinking, like, I mean, everybody's saying that, but what my check gonna look like? She was spot on with that. She was spot on my sister, the love, you know, I don't know. Maybe she was talking about the love that I have for my baby twin cousins, who is now 2 years old now and super bad. But they're my channel. If you haven't seen their birthday party where they turned 2, go watch that. And yeah, I did end up reaching out to her again and getting another psychic reading a couple months. It had to be like maybe 6 months later. And it was given very generic again, so I hadn't done it again. And even just like the review says, she can come off kind of rude, but clearly, y'all, she knows her stuff. So even with the next time being generic, I honestly would give her one more go. But yeah, that is my story about the psychic reading that I got. If you guys like story times like these, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Share this video to anybody that you know have been thinking or maybe interested in going to a psychic medium, so that they can hear my experience and stay motivated. But also go watch the other one too, because that one didn't go as well. Comment down below how you feel about psychics. Have you ever been to a psychic? Are you open to going to a psychic? And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you're subscribed. I don't know what you're doing, but you need to subscribe and turn on your notifications. And I will see you all later. Love you. Bye.